What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Toy Story 4 finally hit theaters. I thought they were done after the third one, which came out in 2010. But, lo and behold, they came up with a new one. This one's more of a love story, focused more on Woody and new character Forky. But it's, there's also a love story with, which I think is a carryover from from 3. Woody and Bo have kind of a relationship, as it were. I've been a huge fan of Toy Story since the first one that came out in 2019. What am I saying? 1995. I was 14 at the time, and I saw it in theaters, and I loved it, and I wanted to learn how to do animation. I'd already been doing Photoshop work, but I'd never done any animation. And in high school, a few years later, I would have the opportunity to take an animation class and realize that I hate animation. I have a lot of respect for people that animate, but the time it takes to animate, it's not something that really I get lost in. So, it was fun it's a fun skill to, at least understand the fundamentals of animation and what goes into it. And then, to see where the show's gone, the movie's gone, the franchise is gone, is basically an expression of how much, computer animation, computer graphics has gotten just exponentially better, I would say. Watching Toy Story 4, some of those shots, I'm like, it just looks, the adults in the Toy Story universe are still very cartoonish, but everything else in the toy universe, the toy world, like in this movie, there's a lot of this movie or a chunk of this movie takes place in an antique store. So the kind of lighting and just dust particles and cobwebs and just everything looked very much like a click away from reality, which was interesting. And all the toys, they felt like real toys. And I rewatched the third one like a couple days after watching 4. And the third one had so like exponentially better graphics than the first one that came out in 95. And so it was like 15 years later. Oh my God, it's been 20 years since the second Toy Story. So the first Toy Story, I thought I wanted to be an animator. The second Toy Story came out in 99. I was working at a movie theater. Actually, theater I didn't go see this one at, but a theater that I go see a lot of movies at, Rancho 16, out in Ranch Mirage, near Palm Springs. I was working at that theater, and it was just amazing to see how a theater can just become completely destroyed by just a sold out screening of like kids, like just popcorn everywhere. I remember it being like the craziest cleanup than anything. My time working at a movie theater, worked at a theater for 3 years. Toy Story 2 was insane. Like, we had giant dumpsters. We had it was like 20 bags, like full yard bags of just trash, of popcorn, of sodas, of candy, of just trash from this movie theater, from trying to get it cleaned up in like a half hour so we can fill it back up again. And then Toy Story 3 came out 2010. I was selling electronics at the time, and still loved the franchise. I thought the third one was probably the best, just overall quality. Pixar has an amazing ability to tell a story. I mean, Disney, in its own right, for the most part, does a very good job, but Pixar, so many of their movies just know how to get at you. But this one, it's the toys are with their new owner, which is part of the third one. Bonnie, I think her name is, the kid's name. And she's going into kindergarten, and in her first day of kindergarten, she makes a toy called Forky, and Forky becomes alive because he is a toy, and when you are made into a toy, even though you come from trash, you are a toy. So this movie deals with the pain, the existential pain and anguish that would come from being created almost monster, like Frankenstein, a creation of trash, something that was just disposed of, has now been given new life as a toy, and is given a soul and consciousness. I don't know about soul. I don't know how all that works, but the toy becomes alive. So Forky is constantly dealing with being drawn back to the old life of trashdom. Meanwhile, Woody has his very unhealthy obsession with making joy in kids' lives, almost like what almost the dark side in a way. Like it's almost scary how much he's trying to make Bonnie, just, I don't know, happy, even though it's not him. He's trying to make everybody happy. The bad guy in this, overall, I would say this is a really fun movie, but not the best of the franchise. I don't know where it necessarily falls in. I haven't rewatched the first two in a while. I kind of watched the third the other night, while I was working on other stuff. So however much attention was paid was varying throughout. But for sure, the graphics it's amazing how much to go from the first 3D animated, computer animated, full-length feature film to where they are now with it. And I love it. I just love the characters, but it was just, if you're going and you want to see a bunch of Buzz Lightyear stuff, good luck. He's in it. There's some funny parts in it. There's some new funny characters in it, for sure. They end up, Bo ends up getting, her, she gets split up from the toys, and she ends up becoming a lost toy and has a Mad Max survival kind of reappearance in this movie, which I enjoyed very much. Having a strong, independent female character, I think, was a fun, to see that character's kind of journey and to where she is now. And they meet while the toys are on a road trip. They meet up at a fair or a festival. Actually, it was a playground near a festival. It was just kind of an interesting, you didn't care about the family. It's there's a lot of things I guess you kind of care about the kid, but it's very much a different story in this one, where a lot of the other movies, I feel like they involved a lot of the toys. This one, most of those are very side characters. Very side characters. The voice talent had very little work to do in this movie. Let's just put it that way. It is very heavily a Woody movie. But I enjoyed it. One of the best. There hasn't been a lot of great movies this summer, but I would say that Toy Story 4 is definitely one of the best, especially for being a sequel, a franchise. It's very easy for franchises just to kind of lose steam. Unlike an upcoming movie that's coming out, Hobbs and Shaw and Hobbs, whatever, the kind of spin-off Fast and the Furious. That's a franchise that's had a rebirth. But Toy Story, I'd say, still going strong. If they want to keep doing Toy Story movies, fine. They're doing everything. They just keep doing everything. But I enjoy it. Hopefully, maybe they'll do a story that's more of a Buzz Lightyear story. Because this one kind of ended the Woody storyline in the whole Toy Story franchise. It was a torch passing moment. But it was good. I enjoyed it. Toy Story 4. Go watch it. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out daily. Subscribe on IGTV and everywhere else podcasts are found. InspiredDisorder.com for all of my original artwork. Go buy some paintings now and save 10% when you use coupon code INSPIRED at checkout. At Ray Taylor for me on all social media. Have a great day, everybody. Peace out!